Good. So welcome to this introduction of Doc Generator. Before we start, I would like to introduce to you Steve Beidler. He started with NGFT on 1st of May. He has a very significant and long-standing background in IT projects, software development, and application. So he will be the person who will be responsible to roll out the various software projects that we're working on right now. And he will make sure that you have a point of contact with regards to the functionality of the system. Now, when we talk about the Doc Generator, we have been using this system for more than 3 years now. When we started out to develop manuals, we had a system made that would allow us to actually manage several companies at the same time. Now, what we found is that there's limitations to just one party working with that. And so we started to expand the system about a year ago. And based on our experiences and also on the feedback that we received from the authorities, we developed a system where you, as company, are able to manage your own manuals. I'm aware some of you might know web manuals or fleet plan. Those are also software solutions that will help you manage your manuals. However, I think what we do is a bit different, because we do not just give you the software to actually manage the text, but we also give you the text, at least a suggestion, a proposal. Now, I would like to show you and follow through with a typical workflow that we have when we have a revision from EASA. So what NGFT will do in the future, we will still track all the regulatory changes. We will still make sure that that we alert you that there's something coming. But not just that, we will make sure that we will also provide you with a suggestion how to write the respective parts. Now, how does that work? Basically, when we started out, we found out that we had to have a database with all the EASA laws in it. So when you look at this tool right here, you can see our regulatory vault. The regulatory vault basically covers all the EASA laws down to the last line. So you can see here, we have CAT OP MPA 100, A1, B1, etc. Okay, so basically, when we have a revision, we will enter the revision into the vault, and we will work on each individual line like this, okay? Now, each line is then actually connected to a chapter in the Doc Generator. Why is that? Well, in order to be able to maintain and show compliance, well, basically nowadays the authorities require you to show compliance down to the AMC level. So we said, well, if we have to do this, then we actually have to make sure that we have a one-to-one relationship between each line and the respective chapters in your manuals. So that's what we did. And here in the regulatory vault, we can actually make changes, and here we link the individual line to the manuals. So it's possible that this line is actually used in 2 different chapters or in 2 different manuals. So actually, we just have multiple references right here. Now that's the key for actually using the Doc Generator. But that is independent from you. That's the service that we provide And that's one of the things that we will do for you as well in the future. So you can see here we have air operations, we have continuing airworthiness. We will expand this to include flight crew licensing and other parts as well. We want to make sure that we have a complete coverage for all air operations, Part M, including CAMO, CAO, Part 145, 147. No matter what you do, everything will be included here and also tracked here. Now, there's another system that uses the regulatory vault. Now, this is the audit tool, and the audit tool will also draw upon these changes. And when you perform an audit, you will have access to each line in the text, in the code, in the law. So you can either just say, are we compliant with CAT op MPA 100? Or you can actually integrate your own questions, use some of our questions, and then have access to the actual text that you need during an audit. So that's the other system. That's that will be rolled out as well. We are currently updating the audit tool that we already have to make sure that it will allow us to include all these additional levels of the regulatory requirements. As you can see here, we have EASA now. That means that if you are also working in a different jurisdiction, we will add also different jurisdiction. For example, Bermuda and maybe some Middle Eastern countries, whatever, Tango 7, San Marino, that will be included as well. And the principle stays the same. So basically, if we have a law, we can link it to the documents. So that's where the revision comes from. So once we have entered the revision here, we will then actually receive an alert in the doc generator, and the doc generator will allow us to actually track this. So when you look at compliance in here, we will have, sorry, that's the definitions, compliance. We can upload now any revisions. And so basically you can see here, let me make this a bit bigger. In this revision here, we have 12 chapters that are affected. So what we do now as NGFT is we will actually look at that in detail, and we will check each chapter that has been mentioned, and we will look for each linkage. We will check, okay, so we have AMC1, ORO AOC 110. Now we have the reference in the OMM, and so we will actually check each one and see, do we have to have any changes? If not, then we just say not applicable. If we have to do a change, we will then actually perform the change. We will change the chapter, submit that to the authorities. In the meantime, that is the FOCA and LBA, and we're also talking to Austro Control. So we will try to pre-approve these texts with several authorities. So once you receive the proposal, it's much easier for you because you have already a text that should be acceptable to the authority. So we can now go to the OMM in here, and we can do any changes on our side. So we will then change the text and finalize it. And once we have the okay from the authorities, we will then send that out to you. So you will actually perform the same check. You will actually you go through your manual, you also have a checklist with each article that has changed. And you will then actually be able to review what has been changed. You will actually look at our proposal and say, yeah, that works, or no, I want to do it my way. And then you change that chapter to your needs, okay? But in any case, you will see the old text and the new text from the law, and you will see our proposal, and that should make it much easier for you to actually perform any changes. Now, let's have a look at what that looks like. I will log out now and log in as in the role of a compliance monitoring manager for a small company. So now what you do here, so we have this company. Now, when I look at compliance, I will receive an alert and say, okay, look, this is important. So you need to do this and you need to check this. The status will obviously be different. It will be orange and alert you that you need to perform the check. So basically what you do then is you actually go through each line and you double check if that is according to your ideas and to your company philosophy. So it will be much easier for you to make any changes if you want to. Now, this includes all the required changes based on the EASA regulation. So once you've gone through that and once you've accepted each chapter, well, then basically you can produce a new version of your manual. Now, that is done in here. Let me show you quickly what you can do then if you want to change something like that. So let's go into the OMD. And now here you have, first of all, a list of all the versions. And you always see who has been working on it and what, if any, comments have been sent. You also have your whole history of all the changes and all the documents available. So right here, you can see we have the OMD. Let me make that bigger. So you have the OMD now, version 2.0 to 2.1. Now here, you can see the basic document, and you can also see the difference document. So if you want to see what has changed between 2.0 and 2.1, you can always go back and look at the diff document and you clearly see what has been changed. Okay, so that should make it easier and you have all your history here available. Now, if you want to change a chapter, okay, basically what you have to do is you will actually go to the chapter that you want to change and then you change it. It's very simple. So let me show you how that works. So here you can see the first chapter, general remarks, and you say, I would like to customize that. So basically you push on the customize button and then you will receive an alert. And that is important. As long as we check compliance and we have this linkage between the law and the text, we can say, yes, we do comply with the law. However, once you take over, you will be responsible for that chapter, not for the whole document. If you want to, you can open all the chapters, obviously. But right now you just get an alarm and say, okay, yes, I will assume the responsibility. And now you can go in and you can just change anything you like, okay? You can add, let's say, a text. You can format that. You can do bullets. So you have a small, so you can change it. You can add images. You can add tables. You can change it as you like. However, that being said, then you will have to double check yourself whether the content of that chapter still complies with the requirements, because we can no longer check that. We're not able to check each chapter and each change that you do. So once you have saved the chapter, you will see it will change visually. First of all, there's a frame around it. You will have the red CC here, and also in the chapter structure right here, you will see that this is a customer change. So you have adapted that chapter, and that will allow you to easily identify which chapters you have been working on as well. Now, if we go out now and look at that document, we will actually get a PDF, and the change that we made will already be in there. So it's quite easy to do that, yes? So that's the, and all the changes that we made are in here, so you can quickly jump to the chapter. So it's all linked. Now let me get back to the change that we made right here. So this is the change we made, and it's already in the PDF, okay? So you are able to add and change the structure as you like, all right? Good. Now, once you are satisfied with the chapter and the document, what you do then, well, then you will actually put it in review. Now, put it in review means you will freeze the content. Now, let me do that right now, okay? So, development is completed. You can add a date. So you have also your history, your name, whatever. Now, once that is frozen, the idea is that you send it out to an authority, and your authority will then actually review it. Now you can see here, okay, you have different options. First of all, you have a link, and that link will actually, you can actually send that link to your authorities like this, okay? And then your authorities, they get access to the documents, they can look at the documents. Again, you have a different document so they can see what has changed. And either they use this process or not. That's up to the authorities. If they are happy with your changes, they say approved, okay? And then you will automatically see here that the document is approved. They may also give you feedback and say, no, this is not good enough, so we need to, you need to do changes. They can write their comments either in the PDF that they can read, and once they do a reject, they can add comments and the document, so you will receive the respective comments, and then you just change the content again. Basically, if it's rejected, then so then basically you go back to, let me refresh this, you go back to the draft stage, and you will have to create a new draft, make all the changes, and then you actually send the document again in review. So again, you have the complete history. You can trace everything, and so you know exactly what is required. Okay. So that's actually the process how to do a new revision. If you want to do your own revision, well, basically you add a new draft, you change what you would like to change, and you perform the same process. It's quite simple, really. Now, let me explain some more things that you have on the side. Now, The principle, how we actually perform all of these changes, is by giving you a profile. Now, each company of yours, each company has different types of operations, different types of aircraft that they use. And what we have done is we have a very large OMA that includes all the chapters for all the different operations that there are, okay? And now we have profiles. So for example, if you want to change an operation, if you want to add, let's say, multi-engine helicopters, and you want to add IFR, basically what you do, you add a new operation, and then you get a list of all the different operations that are available. So you basically just select, let me go to IFR, instrument flight rules. I click on that, and what happens in the background, now in all the manuals that you have, all the chapters that are related to IFR operations, they will now be activated and included in your manuals. So it's actually very easy to set up a new operation. So that's now saved. Now, the next time you have a manual, everything that's related to IFR will be in there. It's very easy, okay? I will show you how we do that in the administrative part. So it's easy to add aircraft, it's easy to add different types of operations. If you have special approvals, that's all included. So it really encompasses everything that you do, okay? So that's the profile. You can add the aircraft, you can add personnel. If we have a management change, you change the name here, and then it will be changed wherever that is required in the respective document. The same thing applies to the variable. Now, variables are terms or sentences that appear in numerous chapters and numerous manuals. And if you have a special expression for those, you change them in one place and they will be replaced everywhere else that is required. So for example, if you say, well, we have the safety action group, but we want to call it the CEO circle, because that's the way you do it. Then basically you just write in here CEO circle, or you say safety action group, whatever. And then once you save that, it will actually be exchanged in all the places where that word is required. Okay, so that's that. So it makes it easier for you to actually also integrate company-specific terms or some of the things that you do just yourself. Now let me show you how we actually do the in the background, how we actually do these company profiles. So now here, when I'll show you, let me see here, we have presets. And if you remember the list of different types of operations that I gave you, now you can see that here as well. So now here, what you see, you have different types of operations. And so let's say if we have helicopter hoist operations, I will click on that. And so that's for, that's for the OMA. That's going to be a long one. Wait. All right, let's do multi-engine aircraft. So no, actually, so we have the hoist. Now what you see here is actually each chapter in the OMA that is available. And now what will happen here, what we will do for you, we will actually set up the chapters in the master document, and we will then allocate the chapter to a certain type of operation. So for hoist, that is, hoist is actually in chapter 14, and then you should see a lot of boxes that are accepted. And so these boxes then will appear if you have a hoist operation. That's the basic principle. Now, we can change variables and so on and so forth. We have now the OMM, the OMA to D, OMA and D for airplane and helicopter operations. We have the Cham, based on the latest revision. We will expand that with FCL, with an ATO. We will set up NCC master documents and so on and so forth. So basically, once you would like to have a different operation, you expand, maybe you want to have an ATO, what we will do is we will activate the operating man, the OM and the TM and the syllabi, and then you can work, then they will appear on your side in your profile, and you can then actually start and change again to your operation. What we also will do for each revision, we will provide you with a compliance list that will show what has changed, so you're able to double check what needs to be changed. And if you want to, let me see, okay, now if you want to more information coming out from the vault, that's no problem at all. We can make extractions from that, and that should make your life easier as well. So I think that's basically the doc generator. It's a document management system, a compliance monitoring system, and it's also a system where you can track all the changes and have everything stored. Now, once that document is published, meaning you have a final version, you can then upload it to the EFB clouds that we provide to you and distribute it to the people. One project that we have is that we will have a document reader that will dynamically access the relevant chapters on the database, so that it will look like a homepage where you can search for terms, where you can highlight certain things. So that's going to be the next project that we will do. With the doc generator, we have stopped the development process. So what you see here is what you will get. We will start to roll out starting next week. We will do that in several phases, because there are some companies that need urgently a revision because they have pressure from the authorities. We will advance these companies first, and then once we have them ready, we will roll out this tool to everyone. Steve will be responsible for helping you getting into the groove, learning how to work with the system, showing you how you can use it, and also be there for you if you need additional training. I will be responsible for the content, and also I will make sure that any kind of compliance issues or things I will take care of. So we're about to roll this out, and each one of you can use it. And again, if you already have a subscription to our services, there will be no additional costs for this tool. So this tool will actually be at your disposal. You can use it as you like, and actually perform the upgrade of the manuals on your own, depending on what kind of operation you have. Good. I think that concludes about what we have, what we want to do. Can I answer questions? Write them in the chat or open your microphone. I'm happy to answer anything you may have. I think, thank you, Andreas. I hope you'll find it useful for yourself as well. Now, what I would like to add is that we have now implemented, what's the status of the manuals? Basically, we have implemented everything that is now new in the CAMO and Part M. So the CAMO includes the management system. We have implemented the management system and the relevant parts from Part M and 145 in the OMM. The CAME reflects already the latest version. We have in the OMA, we have included mixed operations, private flights under AOC and maintenance check flights, and also the issue of child seats. So when you receive this tool, you can actually already submit a new revision to your authorities, and they will then, that will be the actual latest, newest version of all the EASA requirements that you would need. And so that should cover basically everything for the next, I hope for the next few months. And I hope that EASA doesn't really push out any more new legislation. So that's the idea. Now, if you say, well, I would like to have my own manual. It's nice, I would like the functionality, but actually my manual is different, but I would like to use it. So we can do that as well. So what happens here, we will just add a new document. You will provide us with the document. We can upload the document, and then you can use it as well. So that's possible. However, that being said, we only will have a linkage up to the level of Oro MLR 100. What does that mean? It means that we will, right now, we are able to actually give you a direct linkage between each line in the law and the chapters in the manual. Now, if you have your own manuals, we are only able to do this up to the chapter level that Oro MLR provides, because you have a different structure. So the linkage will no longer work on the detailed level. It will work on the MLR level, but everything below you will have to figure out yourself. Now, what does that mean? Basically, if you change, if you have your own manuals, you have responsibility for compliance anyway. So whenever there's a revision, you will receive an alarm, the same functionality, and it will say, attention, there is a change in chapter 8.1.3. And it will give you the law and our suggestion for the text. But then you will have to figure out in which chapter you will have to add that text. So we can no longer provide for that. But that being said, you will then obviously know where you would have to put that, and it should still be a significant alleviation for you as well, and make it much easier to keep your manuals up to date. Now, one last thing, when we will roll out the audit tool, actually you will then have the opportunity to have a function to check from the audit tool to the manuals, and you can check, am I compliant with the manual? And then that functionality will do a database search, check the latest EASA versions, and compare that with what you have in your manuals, and it will give you a yes or no answer. Yes, you are compliant, or no. So we want to reduce it and make it as simple as possible to double check whether you are compliant. Good. Any other questions from your side?
Question?
Yes.
How much it cost the subscription to this service?
The service itself, the tool, all the manuals and the upgrades, the regulatory radar is 6,000 per year, all inclusive. And you have no limitations with people working on the system. You have no limitations on the manuals, so that's all included. It's not dependent like some other companies. We want to make it as simple as possible. Yes. Yes. Any single implemented change proposal, yes. Andreas, yes, but you do not have CAT. So there's a different price tag for that. But you will not be able to access any CAT manuals. So that's for the whole package. Yeah, we want to make sure that we adapt. It will be less for you. Well, Simon, we already worked with our side of the tool for 3.5 years. That's how we actually managed more than close to 40 companies across Europe. And with that system, we learned to make it as simple as possible. And so it might not give you all the functionalities that you require in every detail. But actually what we want to do is we would like to roll it out, and then please provide us feedback. And it's our intention to collect the feedback, collect all your wishes and what you would like to see as additional features in this tool. And then we will produce a new release towards the end of the year that hopefully will include these issues. So we are also dependent on your feedback. But what you see here will allow you to do everything you need to manage your manuals, at the same time receive proposals how to do the texts, and have a compliance check as well. Thank you, Simon. I hope you all will like this tool. All right. Good. Now, just to wrap up, again, we will start to roll out starting next week. If you have any questions, please get back to me at all. In any case, as I said, Steve Beidler, he will be the lead person for the rollout, and he will be your point of contact if you have any technical issues or need support with the functionalities. We want to make sure that this is as smooth as possible and that you get as much value as you can. Good. All right. So, any more questions? Anything else I can answer?
Thank you very much. I hope to see you soon.
Thank you, Thierry. Thanks for stopping by, and get in touch with me, and we'll see what if that should work for you. All right. Thanks.
Thanks.
Good.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Gura. In that case, I wish you all a very nice evening. Have a very good weekend. And I hope to be able to see you soon, hopefully in person. All take care. Thanks for listening in. Take care. Bye-bye.